Stand by for the latest episode of the BizNews Flash Briefing. The latest news from the world of business and investments.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has admitted that the ANC allowed looting in the so-called state capture era, with his comments hitting world headlines. The influential Financial Times of London says Ramaphosa's remarks at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry are his most direct admission yet of the party's failings under Jacob Zuma. But, says the Financial Times, Ramaphosa has stopped short of a full apology and said that the recognition of these facts does not mean that the ANC is itself corrupt or uniquely affected by corruption. The Zondo inquiry is investigating claims that Zuma allowed the Guptas, a business family, to control cabinet appointments and state contracts. President Ramaphosa was probed by lawyers on what he knew about the role of the Guptas in funding the ANC. Take a listen.
The Guptas also donated money to the ANC over the years.
Yes, the then Treasurer General has admitted to that fact.
There can be no doubt that any donation from the Guptas should have been investigated.
Yes, I would say so too. Yes, I would concede that there should have been possibly an internal examination. I don't know the extent to which an investigation would have been possible, but an examination, because an investigation conjures up in one's mind the idea that you will subpoena this document, you will get this and that, and being a political party, I know the limitations even of the powers of a Secretary General to subpoena documentation and evidence. So there should have been an examination.
Like Zuma's dodgy nuclear deal, Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe's powership deal is deeply suspect and frankly reeks of corruption. So says the leader of the opposition Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen, who notes that the deal locks South Africa into a 20-year contract to purchase expensive, dirty power. The US economy expanded rapidly in the first quarter, growing at a 6.4% annual rate and extending what economists project will be a robust consumer-led recovery from the pandemic this year. That's according to BizNews Premium partner, The Wall Street Journal, which says that the jump in US gross domestic product in the first 3 months of the year put the size of the economy slightly ahead of where it stood a year earlier, just as the pandemic reached the US. Meanwhile, the S&P 500, which is an index of the biggest publicly listed companies in the US, has risen 10% since Mr. Biden's January the 20th inauguration. The index is on course for its strongest performance since the start of Mr. Roosevelt's first term in 1933, when it surged 80% after a spectacular crash in the Great Depression. China is preparing to slap a fine on Tencent as part of its antitrust crackdown on the country's internet giants. Reuters reports that Tencent may face a fine of at least 10 billion yuan, which is the equivalent of $1.6 billion US dollars, which is less than the 2.8 billion levied on Alibaba. Tencent underpins Amsterdam-listed Prosus and the JSE's Naspers, which dominates the South African Stock Exchange. And that was your BizNews Flash Briefing. I'm Jackie Cameron for BizNews. For more on those and the other big news stories of the day, go to biznewsradio.com.
You've been listening to the BizNews Flash Briefing, bringing you the latest news from the world of business and investments. Subscribe to BizNews Radio on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, or by visiting biznews.com.